Hello, my name is Major Mike Webb. I'm a retired field grade Army officer and Army Ranger, airborne. And I am literally running for governor of Virginia right here. If you are like many folks, when a COVID-19 struck, your spin classes, days at the gym, rock climbing, and everything else went on hold until after the pandemic, and you probably picked up quite a few COVID pounds. And at least anecdotally, I would dare to speculate that if you decided to take a break from anything requiring any kind of discipline like academic study or even religious devotion, you were going to experience the same steep learning curve trying to come back after the pandemic to be back on your game like you were over a year ago. Unless you are some kind of Superman or Wonder Woman when it comes to your faith or academics or sports. Because the science says that you have degraded over time through inactivity. It happens, it's science. But with regard to exercise and COVID-19, I find as many as 80% experiencing only asymptomatic signs of infection. There are some reports that even though you may not have even noticed being infected, as a pretty efficient respiratory tract infection that has all of the indicators of being like a Ranger virus, it may well have left some long-lasting damage to your cardio workout with scarred lung tissue and long-term damage. So we decided to do a little checkup from the neck up, conduct a little experiment today on Roosevelt Island, and as a professional, I'm going to provide the standard warning to not attempt this if you are not a professional. If you're somebody who needs a training program and a support group to train for a 5K, a 10K, or a half marathon, don't even think about trying this on your own. Maybe get a little group and do it together and do beers after or whatever. I've not performed any exercise at all in over a year, and definitely have not gone on any runs during the pandemic. I am overweight, smoke 2 packs of Marlboro Cowboy Killers every day. So trail running where you might die and not be discovered for days until somebody finds your body or carcass is probably not advised. But like I said, I am a professional, and so we didn't have to really worry about that. And as you can see demonstrated in this constant stream video, we didn't die or even find a need to take a knee, pause, and try to recover our breath. Some observations and comments for the after action review. Well, general observations. As you can see throughout this video, there are several folks in an outdoor environment and wearing facial coverings. Let's talk about that. The first point is that back in the Obama administration, a decade ago, 2010, the NIOSH, National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, ran through the contingency of a pandemic and tested non-medical grade personal protective equipment like the ones that most people are wearing. And they failed. So the first point is you need to stop fooling yourself by telling yourself that you're a scientist because you failed to read the damn reports. Over a decade ago, your pandemic costume is combat ineffective, which provides a great segue to the next point. Even if COVID-19 was an infectious disease, which everything says it's not, being transmitted from person to person in over a year, there has not even been one large sample size tracer contact study, a science thing, that has validated it as highly contagious as a disease with a secondary attack rate of at least 60%. Not even one. And there has been no validation through Koch's postulates that COVID-19 requires a low infectious dose, like tuberculosis, canvassate. In fact, most of the data, including the recent decision by the CDC to finally withdraw their concerns about fomite infection, so you could stop sanitizing and that whole thing, or indirect infection from contaminated surfaces, indicates that the infectious dose required to infect anyone with COVID-19 is pretty darn high, which is consistent with the less than 5% secondary attack rate that has been validated in every credible large sample size tracer contact study again and over again. From the first large sample size tracer contact study performed by WHO, completed back in February of 2020, examining over 55,000 laboratory confirmed cases, to the largest sample size tracer contact study to date back in October in India with over 3 million laboratory confirmed cases, less than 5%. 4 times too low to be an infectious disease and 12 times too low to set off a super spreader event. So applying this observation to the gubernatorial race, in which everyone and his mother is running and talking about making big plans to open up this or open up that or close this and close that or whatever, but based upon absolutely no clinical or empirical data, observations, and analysis. There is one thing that at least Joe Biden said that was absolutely correct during his American Rescue Plan address from the White House. Unless we deal with COVID-19, its reality, everything is pretty much on hold. And if you don't understand the science in a pandemic, that process of recovering is going to take a whole lot longer, because it is pretty difficult to hit a target that you cannot see, as Zig Ziglar says, and pretty damn near impossible to hit a target that you don't even have. And one thing that we know pretty much for certain and for sure, and like gospel, even looking back to the very first outbreak in China at the Hunan seafood wholesale market in Wuhan, where only 27 people in a venue measuring the size of 9 American football fields were infected. Or even the American patient zero, a 35-year-old traveler to Wuhan who returned on a 20-hour flight into Seattle Tacoma Airport, took a 25-mile share ride with others, ran around the Puget Sound for 4 days, coming into contact with as many as 68 close tracer contacts, but failing to infect anyone. The risk of casual infections through short exposures to others is really pretty small. Almost not even a possibility at all. And that is the level of detail about COVID-19 that you have to know before you make any plans that might be hazardous, like some folks who decided to have a parade in the middle of a pandemic and killed 1,000 people in a week. Recall that there are over 10,000 fatalities in Virginia and over 500,000 nationwide. Throwing caution to the wind is not what an intelligent person would do. Or is that setting the bar too high for politicians? And so here is the truth. My name is Major Mike Webb. And by God, I am running for governor of Virginia. I ask every Virginian and every American true to, like the motto of the infantry, follow me, and we shall overcome. Honest. This advertisement was authorized by Mike Webb.